Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to another session with Tech Talk with Malik. So today we have Akib Afzal from Ingram Micro Dubai. So he was a former colleague of mine when I was working in Tech One Global. So today we are talking about a special subject. We are talking about all the softwares and our services and everything. But when it comes to cloud and client, the main thing is the security part. So we have threats and we have data issues and breaches and stuff. So at this point, Microsoft is there with a product called Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection. So with this, we'll move forward in having a discussion so that we can understand what is this Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection is, how it helps. So before that, I'll ask Akib to give a brief discussion, a brief information about himself and what he does in Dubai and helping countless customers in resolving threat issues.
Good morning, Malit. Thanks
Good
first
morning.
for having me on this session, on your live session. I think this is very, very good stuff. And I
Yes.
have joined all your sessions before, and it has been very, very helpful for, I think, the entire community there. And hopefully, there are some of my colleagues from here who has joined. And I hope this session also will be helpful. Well, my focus here, so Ingram Micro is a global distributor for Microsoft, and we have over about 200 products that Ingram Micro sells as a distributor. But the distributor model here compared to how it happens in Sri Lanka is significantly different on what we really do in terms of operations. Distributors are known to just be selling licenses, and then that's about it. Licenses or hardware. This is the most common thing. But here, what we do is we are a value-added distributor. So we have several different teams. Like I am in the Microsoft team. There are other products and they have other technical pre-sales. So every team or every product, there is a pre-sales and a technical person there. Our focus is mainly to work with the partners and develop their technical skills on Microsoft alone. So it can be focused here is for cloud mainly for Azure and M365. And most of the partners, there are over 2,000 partners here in Gulf alone, if you take the other countries also inclusive. So our focus is to work with partners, help build solutions for their customers, depending on what requirements the customer has. So
Okay.
this is not just on a particular portion of, let's say, M365 security alone. We will be focusing on everything around M365 that we can put into the customer's environment and design the solution for the customer. So my focus here is for Azure and modern workplace.
Okay.
So this is mainly what my role is here at Ingram Micro.
Right. Okay. So now the product we are talking about is Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection. So before we get into, I have some few questions available so we can get to know about this product more and move forward. So let's say, can you little bit explain what is this Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection is in a brief? Do you have any presentation available you can share with us?
Uh, yeah, so I'll just explain it to you. I actually have the cybersecurity reference architecture. I will show this uh, in a bit, but it's good to know what this advanced threat protection is. Now,
Hmm.
Microsoft's threat protection landscape actually consists of about 4 products. These are the 4 known products, which are Defender ATP, Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection. You get Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection. Then you get
Hmm.
Azure Advanced Threat Protection and Microsoft Cloud App Security. Now,
Okay.
all 4 products have different silos they work in, and they do a different purpose, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Now, when you talk about defend ATP, it's mostly towards endpoints or
Okay.
clients. Okay,
Okay.
this is mainly to take preventive protection, post breach, to run
Okay.
automated investigations and response at the end user level,
Okay.
to help prevent from any unknown threats. So it's just like Office 365 ATP, but just that it runs on a client end. But Defend ATP can do much more than just do protection. I know when this product came, it was mainly for endpoint protection, but now you can do far more than just endpoint protection. You can even integrate it with other third-party products that Symantec. Then you get things like Golden Gems. These are all other products that also integrate with this. And
Okay.
some of the new capabilities that Defend ATP has is one incident or example I can tell you is one of the customers that I work here. They were looking at replacing a certain amount of Cisco products. So one of the requirements was to do URL filtering, right? So Defend ATP works with something called Siren. It's a company. I don't know if Microsoft has purchased this or are they going to purchase this. But
Mm-hmm.
using this tool that integrates with Defend ATP, you're able to also do the URL whitelisting for the entire organization,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is one test. Then you get the Office 365 ATP, where it can do the safe attachments, safe links against any malicious threats that come via email. Now with
Okay.
ATP, the main thing is the sandboxing, right? But no one really, I don't know if anybody really understands what happens inside the sandbox. So there
Okay.
are a lot of other competing ATP products also, like at least here in this region, it's not just Microsoft. So there are a lot of challenges with other products also. We have products from Symantec. We have products from a vendor called Mimecast. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very famous product. Then we've got from another product called FireEye. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I have worked very closely with this FireEye to understand exactly what happens inside the sandbox. They are kind of the pioneers of this ATP thing, or the sandboxing capabilities. So there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of things that happen inside the sandbox. So it's good to understand these also in terms of what, yes, a message comes, it takes it into a detonation chamber and then run the attachments or links, but it's not just running there. Based on this sandbox, what happens is it takes the attachment. If it's a Word file, it runs it in 3 different versions of Microsoft Word. It runs it in 3 different versions of Windows. It runs it in 3 different versions of Linux. This is the process that actually goes into this sandboxing part of ATP, Office 365. So it does URL and safe attachment, safe links, and any other collaboration tools. So ATP also works with things like SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive also. So that's on the email side. Then coming into the third part, you get Azure ATP,
Mm-hmm.
which does kind of, it uses your directory signals to identify and detect any uh, malicious or unknown threats, or things like compromised identities and things like that in your environment. And then security, this is mainly for your applications. Your application can be on cloud, it can be on premise, and cloud app security is a very, very powerful tool,
Mm-hmm.
where you can integrate even with your local firewalls to actually have your logs all screened and filtered for any unknown events, known events, and then resolved directly on cloud. So these are the 4 tools that actually fall under the Microsoft Threat Protection Service platform, right? These can be these come with M365 plans, some M365 plans, and
Okay.
it can be bought as standalone pick and choose products also for customers.
Mhm. Okay, so that's a good insight because when you talk to ATP, we see several things. When as you said, in Office 365, Azure, and many kinds of platform we see the word ATP. But the thing is, people doesn't understand what this applies and what does it do. Some of the companies, some of the, I'm not telling every customer doesn't know, but some of them, that means they need the technology, but they don't understand where to apply this technology. So this is the purpose
Yes.
we are doing this session, because these sessions we monitor, because we have to do countless stuff to monitor them. So I have few questions available with me, so the people, also the people who are watching also can understand.
Yeah.
So we will go with this question. So the first question is, with so much of digital technological advancement, there comes a great responsibility to us to all, which we at a time forget, that is security. So do we need to be concerned? So as I
In
said,
Yeah.
yes,
Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
You know, uh, as I said, because when you're talking about cloud, it's in another place, in a location we don't know actually. That means we know a geographical area, whether it's in Singapore or any other place, and we have client PCs in our places. So what happens over here is, people want to understand what is the security part. So can you give an explanation regarding this question? Okay.
This is actually a good question, and a question that actually comes up even up to today. Uh, I have a very good example I can give you based on this entire COVID issue that has come up. So I will
Mhm.
come to that towards the end. But security definitely, yes, is a major concern for every organization and should be the prime concern for every organization. Now, what happens is that a lot of people, or a lot of organizations, irrespective of Microsoft or any other product, uh, they have a little bit of resistance in terms of investing in security products. Okay.
Okay.
Or they have invested in the wrong security products and they don't make any use of whatever the security products they have invested on. This is what I am seeing in the on the ground, even with customers here, right? They
Hmm.
invested with all these expensive products but not really utilizing this. Now security definitely should be the main concern for customers, but it doesn't mean that yes, Microsoft does take a level of responsibility in terms of securing data. If you take things like Azure or even modern workplace to secure
Hmm.
customer data, but they are doing it from their side, what they can do to help prevent or protect their data centers or their resources getting compromised from external threats. But it is also the customer's responsibility to actually ensure their data is secure by utilizing the tools that are provided. Now customers here, sometimes they buy Microsoft 365, E3, E5, or even business premium, but they don't really deploy and utilize the tools that Microsoft has freely provided to them in those, right?
Yes.
So it is, as advisors, I whenever I go into a custom environment, this is the first thing I see. I want to know what they exactly have and what they're exactly utilizing, to bring this up to them and tell them that, hey, look here, these things you need to actually put into your environment, because you will be securing XYZ items in your environment. And this securing can be a lot of things. It can be from minor, a device, to a BYOD device a user is bringing into the organization. So it is compulsory that everybody takes care of their security and ensure the hygiene of their environment is maintained using these tools. That is why these tools are there, to help maintain hygiene in the environment, and also this strengthens the security. Now, coming into an example, due to COVID, even we were all working from home for about
Hmm.
2 months here. At least we were on lockdown. Now,
Yeah.
during this time, there was a lot of discussions around Windows Virtual Desktop here. I won't talk about that, but there
Hmm.
was a lot of discussions about that. But something a lot of people missed out is the security. What about the security? Okay,
Hmm.
very few partners or customers that I engage with actually brought this up, but I had to bring this up when I did certain webinars for partners here. What about the security of your devices, your applications, your operating system? At least my laptop is configured in such way that I get updates only when I go to office. So which means I have still not been to office. I'm still working from home. So
Yeah.
my device, my office applications, my company applications are actually not up to date. So
Mhm.
there is a security loophole that I have kept open, that until I go to office, I'm not being able to, secure my endpoint or secure my device. So, it's the responsibility of the organization to utilize these services and tools to help secure this. So no matter where you are, your device is still up to date, your applications are still up to date, so you're less vulnerable to any security issues that can come up. There is something called, I don't know if anybody has read this, any one of your viewers here. Microsoft has something called a security intelligence report. They talk about all the new and existing security threats globally. Okay.
Okay.
And they also rate which countries have a lot of, or which countries are more prone to security threats throughout the globe. So it's
Okay.
something that I think everybody should read if they are interested in getting into security with Microsoft, or not really Microsoft, but to understand the landscape of security these days currently,
Yeah.
because there has been a significant spike. If you have seen or if you have read, there has been a significant spike in security threats during this COVID period, where when people started working from home.
Yeah, still it's happening because some of the internet connectivities from homes are not secured. This is the main reason. And most of the time, I say for my past events also, I said most of the security breaches happen because of human error, using simple passwords
Correct.
or using the same password for many platforms. So these are the things what happen. The protection part, that means sometimes what a customer does is something happens, it's straight from the product issue, but
Absolutely.
when you dig up the whole thing, what happens is otherwise you have put some pause into your protection, or you have changed the password like admin at 123. Some of the comparative Sri Lanka uses that admin at 123, or password at 123, or their telephone number. So these are the vulnerabilities what we have, as we discussed. So I think I have also heard that many of the breaches happen because of these reasons, because unsecure network, because in homes we don't have a, a powered firewall or having multiple layers of security or anything. We just have a normal ISP internet connection. So for hackers, for those who want the details, they can get if you are vulnerable.
Correct, correct. So devices are also not, properly patched. Some run outdated operating systems. You
Mhm.
won't believe there are some customers who still run Windows 7, and Windows 7 is now out of support. So it's
Yes.
time they actually look at moving to Windows 10, because Windows 10 offers a lot of more security features than Windows 7 could offer. So this is kind of the starting point for any threat that comes in. And threats don't just come in and do nothing. They It takes at least about 6 months before you know you are infected or affected. It does not just come in and then start going around affecting or infecting any PCs or anything in the environment, your devices.
Yes, okay. So that was good insight regarding the question I had. So you cleared it out and you gave an example regarding us. That means a practical scenario, what happens with one of your customers and stuff. So these are the things what we need. So the next one is related to Microsoft Teams, one of the star products in the worldwide web, or the collaboration, or the work from home concept. So it was a star announced in 2016 or 2017 at Microsoft Ignite. So after that information, the product came live and it was helping a lot. But now it's helping more than we requested. So Microsoft is there for us. But the next question is bind to Microsoft Teams. So the question what I have is, with the previous segment I have done around modern workplace tools such as Microsoft Teams. does security play a role? So now we have a collaboration too. So is this protection applied to Microsoft Teams as well?
The short answer to this question is yes. So Office, like I said earlier, Office 365 ATP does have integration with Microsoft Teams.
Hmm.
What it does is it does things in order for you to protect the documents you're sharing, probably inside the teams, because you'll be sharing links, you'll be sharing documents between colleagues, maybe outside with external parties, purely over Teams. You're correct. Like we are
Yeah.
all using Teams now to actually work on a day-to-day basis. Even here, like I get on probably around 10 calls a day purely over Teams, other than the normal calls that come over the phone. But this depends mainly on how Teams is set up for the organization. If you have gone full blown out and allowed everything to happen between internal and external parties within Teams, then yes, you need to ensure you have taken some sort of security measure to prevent any malicious documents, links being shared by users. And if it is detected, there should be someone who can monitor this and understand, hey, look, this is something that is unsecure. I'm going to block this content and protect this content, or lock this content from being opened by anyone else, right? This is an important thing. The second part of this is, if you're now, at least at Ingram Micro, our Teams does not actually allow us to share content outside of the organization.
Hmm.
With external, we can of course communicate but not share data through Teams with outside. This is due
Okay.
to, yeah, the global, we have something, we are very how do you say, very not secure, but they take a lot of measures in
Security
protecting company
concerns.
data. Yeah, company data. So we have a policy where we can't share certain content from internal to external parties. But when coming back to the first part, where ideally you would want to make use of all these features, Office 365 ATP integrates very well actually with Microsoft Teams. So it is able to protect any files that is being shared, any links that are being shared. So how this operates is, let's say you have a file that you have either in SharePoint, OneDrive, or Microsoft Teams, and it has been identified as a malicious file.
Hmm.
What ATP does is it integrates with the file stores, and then takes the and then locks that file. Okay.
Okay.
To prevent any further spread and any further users from either downloading or opening this. So there are a lot of examples actually on Microsoft Docs itself, that you can go and see how this process happens. I don't have any environment like that to show, but
Mhm.
that's exactly what happens either on Teams or on any of SharePoint or OneDrive. When ATP detects there is some sort of malicious link or malicious file that you're sharing. So this is how ATP protects inside Teams.
Inside things, yeah. So that's a good insight because we here in Sri Lanka, I have mentioned this earlier in some of our events, that we have gone to educate people in the education sector. That means we have our large account partners available at them, so they are helping schools to have use of Microsoft A1 license and using Microsoft Teams for the education sector. So with these things moving forward, so most of our viewers will understand what are the things what we do here is with Microsoft is help people as well as secure their data. So I think one of the solutions, I think Microsoft has not been breached for the name. I think for 0 days, I don't have even seen a post that Microsoft has been breached. But security patches for Windows and stuff, there were some errors that are errors, right? Normal patch errors. But data breach, because data is the most important part. But I don't think we have any record for the past 10 years that the data has been breached of a customer by Microsoft. So this is the security what we are talking about. So moving forward, so let's say my next question is also somewhat the opening statement what we had. So I'll give that question up. So how does Microsoft solution helps in security? Give us some example.
Okay. This is a broad area.
Hmm.
Now, Microsoft alone, I have worked both ways. I have worked purely with so because I work for the Microsoft product team here, right? So I have to, of course, put Microsoft in front. But I have worked with our cybersecurity team. So Ingram Micro, we have our own cybersecurity team here, and these
Hmm.
guys are mainly focused on cybersecurity products and using Kali Linux for all this penetration testing to go into the deep web and check if customers have left footprints and things like that. So anyway, I was able to actually pick up a lot of things working with this team, right?
Hmm.
Amazing guys and very smart guys. Now there are other tools that complement Microsoft also in terms of security. If you take tools that I said with Bolton James and all, these are like top end uh, products. Then you get Force Point. All these are security products that work with Microsoft, maybe with AIP or things like that. But if you
Okay.
take Microsoft alone, Microsoft has quite a few security tools that I said earlier in order to help protect the environment.
Hmm.
Now, apart from the threat protection services that I told, you can even take Intune as a product, security product or tool that is there to help protect your mobile devices. Right?
Hmm.
We are all working from home. You still want to ensure that the security of that device is not tampered with. So you get products like Intune to help manage those devices. But when you take security alone, the products, one of the top, another top product could be the Defend ATP and Cloud App Security, apart from the Office 365 ATP side.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's a good insight. So these are the examples what we have with the Microsoft solution services. So uh, security part, I think we cannot discuss this within an hour. When you talk about Microsoft security, it's a vast area. So we will keep it. So all the information what we get here is to help customers move forward because we are digitally transforming. That means, as I think if you have watched one of my sessions on Microsoft Teams, Herdian was saying that there was a survey that what made the companies digital transform, whether it's COVID, whether it's the CEO, or whether it's the IT manager. So I think COVID made most of the companies move to digital transformation with the security concerns earlier. As I have mentioned earlier, that means a company 10 years back it was hard for a company to go from paper based to computers. So now it's an era that means they are thinking twice. But with Microsoft having, I think, most of the regulations available with the cloud solution, I think Microsoft has the most, I think, almost everything, every regulations in all of the regions. So I think with I think compliances when you talk about GDPR, so these are the things what Microsoft secures. So moving forward, we have another question. So while we are talking about ATP, so what is ATP and how does it secure an organization and an individual at an organization with a vast digital adoption? So this is a concern, right? So we are talking about ATP, so we need to know how it secures.
Absolutely. So again, ATP, we can put it into two sides. One is the Defend ATP, and the other one is the Office 365 ATP. Let's start with the Office 365 ATP, right? Now, Office 365 ATP was introduced several years back. If I'm not wrong, it should be 2016 or 2017.
Mhm.
And this was a great tool when it came out, right? Now this can there are three scenarios on how this works as a product alone. One is there are three scenarios rather, right? One is ATP is directly on cloud, and even your emails can be on cloud, and you use it with Exchange Online. The second one is you use ATP on cloud, the ATP service on cloud, and then you integrate with your Exchange on-premise environment or any other on-premise SMTP email solution that you have. Or you can use it in a hybrid setup where you have cloud and on-premise mailboxes both running, and ATP doing the doing what it is meant to do. Now, I don't know if everybody knows this, but ATP has two types of plans. There is something called ATP Plan 1 and Plan 2. Okay, there are differences in both these plans in terms of capabilities. So what you and me ideally talk about, that oh, I get it with M365 or I'm buying it as an add-on, is ATP Plan 1. Okay, it does the basic you have the basic features, I can put it that way, like the safe attachments, safe links. Then you get things for the SharePoint, the OneDrive, the Teams. Then you get your anti-phishing protection there and real-time detection. This is what comes as a part of Office 365 ATP Plan 1. But there is something else called ATP Plan 2. A lot of customers here, we position this one instead of Plan 1. If you ever go into the Microsoft 365 Security and Compliance Center portal and you go into Advanced Threat Protection tab, you will see things like Attack Simulator, Threat Explorer. These are actually a part of ATP Plan 2, and these are very powerful tools that are there. Okay, I haven't seen a lot of people using it until you go and show them how to use it. So especially with the Attack Simulator, so there is something called threat intelligence also that happens with ATP Plan 2. But the main thing is some of these tools like Threat Tracker, Threat Explorer, then you get this Attack Simulator. It's very, very interesting. So just on the Attack Simulator alone, what you can do is you can run any of your known malicious programs that you want to trial out or test out. You can run it in this Attack Simulator. It will simulate the attack for you and then let you know what's exactly happening and what you need to do, what kind of incidents you can expect, things like this. So it simulates an attack for you like the real thing, but it's not the real thing. So this is actually a part of ATP Plan 2, which I believe comes with the E5 plans. Office 365 E5, A5, and M365 E5. So ATP Plan 2 is actually included in these, but you can always opt to get it in case you want to in terms of this. Then moving on again with the ATP part, a lot of another few things, some other few things I have seen is that what people do is they go and just turn on ATP on the portal and think ATP is running, which is also wrong. If you do something like ATP, turning on ATP is a simple tick. Okay, anybody can go into the security compliance center and do it, but that will not work that way. There was a financial institution here that someone has done this and then just turned it on, and the customer thinks ATP is working, but you know, it won't work that way. You have to go ahead and configure your policies inside. You will have different users that have different requirements. You have to go ahead and configure. So this is also something you need to keep in mind when working with ATP. But you should always explore all of these capabilities that are offered. That is the important thing. The more you explore, the more you can position and configure for your environment when you are doing it. Not all might have ATP Plan 1, or sorry, not all might want ATP Plan 2. That's okay. But these are superior products that Microsoft has given, and it comes. So why not make use of it? You're paying for it. That's the most important thing. And
I have to
so
add this with something. So
Yeah.
whether it's ATP or other products, most of the customers doesn't take much out of, even in Office 365. What they're using is just Outlook. They don't use
Yeah.
OneDrive. That means we have a good encrypted level of cloud storage. We have services like Stream, Sway, and other products. O- Even in Sri Lanka over here, we have multiple. Now we have a lot of companies who have moved to Microsoft Office 365, or what we have renamed as Microsoft 365. But the thing is, people doesn't use most of the technologies. As you said, it's not like switching on one service and keeping that you're protected and stuff. People people does that in here as well. Most of the customers, they read is okay, we have to just activate this so that after that we are safe. But they don't know that even in Teams we have a good admin center available. We that means user based admin center, as well as Microsoft PowerShell based admin center. So in this both, what happens is we have activated, and why is this happening? This is the question what we get most of the time. I got this question more than countless customers telling, we have put switch on, why is it not working? It's switch on, but the back end it's switched off. So you have to go in and see
Yes.
what are the services on and off. People just say, okay, we have activated anti-phishing, we have smart links, we have put ATP on our email addresses, but still we got uh, viruses. Why is this? Still we have been vulnerable. Why is this? So again, just as Akib said, this not like switching on or switching off, but you have to go in depth. Sorry for interfering, Akib, because I have to
No, no.
explain.
Yeah, actually,
Uh,
you have a valid point, Nicole. I also like to add to that. Several years back, migrations. Okay, we were talking about uh, like migrating from on-premise to Exchange Online and Office 365, and using all these collaboration tools that Microsoft provided at that time. But
I
now
did
the
type of
landscape has changed. Okay, just migrating is not the biggest job here. Now the biggest job is to ensure the customer is using these tools, because these are new things that have been made available by Microsoft to the customers. So we need to ensure that the customer is also using these tools, or the customer is configuring these properly. So it
Mhm.
is very important to know that these are great tools that Microsoft has. Honestly, I mean, I work with so many different vendors here. You can tell Symantec, like I said, Forcepoint. Our cybersecurity team alone, they do, I think, over about 15, 20 products. And I have sat through some of these products. And, when I look at what Microsoft is actually offering as a whole, they are not just basic products that Microsoft is giving just to say, oh, we are doing it, but they are actually doing it. These are actual A to Z products that are there to help address a problem a customer might have, or to address a problem um, a organization might be having or facing, and it actually addresses it. If you get into problematic environments and try to position, yes, it actually helps address the issue. So it's not just about migrating now and saying, oh, we moved this, or we
We are cloud.
migrated, yeah, we are on cloud. But it's about having all these security tools also configured up, ready and running for the customer.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's my take on this, to add on to your one.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a good insight, because as said, that means we have the issue in here as well, that people move into cloud or move to whatever the platform is available, but they are not using it. They are not taking most out of it, but later on telling we didn't get it. So this is the thing. So we didn't know it was there. Was it there? We didn't see it. So
Correct, correct.
no, there's a normal theory that the three monkeys. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. I didn't tell it. So
Yes,
in IT field also, these technologies are used in versus customer as well as the partners. I'm not telling that always the customer makes the mistake. There is a, even the partner must be able to convince the customer of using those technologies. So
absolutely.
as I said before, the three monkeys has been applied to customers as well as the partners. So the partners must be able to give the customer all the products available, so that the customer won't have any complaints regarding that I didn't get the information, we didn't know this service was there. So it's the one who is selling is responsible. Now, for example, you are into responsible into Microsoft security with Microsoft 365 and Azure. So if you just go and tell, okay, Microsoft 365 is just email services and cloud, you have multiple applications, you can do third party applications, and you just come off, the customer has to go through all of the more than 15,000 third party tools and more than 40 to 50 Microsoft tools. So he has to identify what does he need. So I think you were a pre-sales engineer in here when I was working with you. So
Yes,
your
yes,
your aim was to that means give the customer the technologies what is needed. So you achieve that. So when the salesperson go and tell this is Microsoft 365, Office 365 at that time, so your team and your colleagues were the ones who go and explain that these are the products, these are the services we can use. So that's how you achieve. It's a goal. Sales, technical, pre-sales. This is a combination. I have spoken about this earlier as well. It's not just one person. It takes a customer, sales, pre-sales, technical, and the decision maker, financials. So all these things comes together to do a good product as well as a good sale. So
absolutely.
yeah, it was a good insight regarding what are the things what we need with this digital adoption. So I have a final question for you. So I think you can answer for this as well. With your experience, what are the top of the security concerns CIOs at organizations should be cautious about? How can they address these? So
Okay, I will come to this question. Fine. So, based on my experience here, the first thing is the CIOs should now also be a bit tech savvy. Okay, honestly, this is my opinion. This is my personal opinion. Uh, Probably I can be I can be corrected, right? But this is what I think from what I have seen. A lot of CIOs they do not properly have a proper understanding firstly on what cloud technology is and what they are currently utilizing. Okay, they need to have this understanding first. But from smart CIO, I have interacted with a few here who actually go deep into the product and they try to understand themselves, what am I exactly using here? Like, it doesn't mean that they are going to talk about how it's technically done. That is
yes,
not their aim. Their aim is to understand what the product does. So if you take Azure, okay, what is Azure? Oh, why are you giving me these? Like, things like that. If it's modern workplace, oh, I'm getting ATP, I can do XYZ. Do I really need to have a different product to do this? So can I get rid of my old? So that is the understanding that CIOs need to build. But if you take some of the top questions that CIOs might want to know or should know, one is if the employees are taking proper security measures to help protect their data. Okay, this is one of the top uh, risks that I have seen that's on their mind. And then breaches from outside, if the systems that they are running are patched or unpatched, this is also another concern they need to keep in mind, and how this is going to get done if it's not already done. Then you get any internal threats you may have, employees leaking data outside. If they leak, what's going to happen? How am I going to recover this? Things like that. Then you get shadow IT, which is entirely different, not entirely different, but it's also a concern that they need to keep in mind. And then the last part is bring your own device. With the amount of tools that Microsoft currently offers, managing a BYOD environment is not a big challenge now. Honestly, this is what I think. With the capabilities that Intune has evolved into, this is not a big deal right now. And I think Intune is a ready product, and it's not any more complicated. It's actually, I still have a very close connection with Intune for some reason, and I still work on it on a daily or weekly basis one part nor the other. I still love this product. I don't know why, and I'm very, very comfortable with the product itself, because given how much it has evolved over the past several years. So yeah, these are some of the concerns that I have seen that are there in CIOs' minds, based on what I have worked on.
Okay. So it's a good insight, because actually I have used test as a test subjects in my workplace. That means in my area. That means I have several laptops over here. So I use Intune, and I have seen what are the capabilities available, even controlling my iOS devices, whether it's Android. So all these devices was a concern, and we started working a lot. So we understand. So as you said, Intune is a ready product, and with advanced web protection, Intune, and I think Intune application protection. So I think Microsoft has, I think, one of the most protection categories in the world when you take a open subject,
Yeah, it
right?
has actually a lot of security products inside there.
So it takes like Azure information protection, identity management. So there are words, but with those words, there are responsibles. That means Microsoft is giving a good responsibility in securing your data if you use it well. So we cannot
Yes,
as you said before, it's not like switching in and say, oh, okay, our informations are wrong. But like information protection comes, like you have to label them properly, you have to give the labels properly, what to detect and how to protect your data. So these are the things. Even when it comes to advanced threat protection, you have to give the parameters. Rather than
yes,
that, it's not like, even for example, let's say a car. You cannot just start a car and start moving. You need all the details available. You have to check the battery, you have to check the fuel levels. So you have to shift the gear. If it's a manual car, you have to shift the gear at the right time. So you have to hit brakes automatically. I think maybe about another 10-15 years you will get a full automated vehicle. There are some semi automated vehicles available at the moment, and some of the vehicles are good, some of the vehicles still make accidents. So I don't think AI related vehicles will be good in Sri Lanka, because three-wheel guys will come in the other side, and even the computer can't understand from where did they came. So
yeah,
like
yeah. So this is actually based on a Red Hat study. It was actually done. This is based on Red Hat. Okay.
okay.
So employees not taking the proper security measure, based on this study of, I think, about 400 CIOs, or IT decision makers. This was the biggest concern, that the employees not taking the correct security measures, because they might probably be, like, they don't care what they put on the laptop.
They
They
have
just go and download everything. Yeah,
they have the concerns, but they're not applying it. That
yeah,
is the main reason. Oh, somewhat, because now now I see most of the job of IT managers, you have to have a web development background. So all these areas are required, because as you
yes,
said before, you need a smarter IT manager than a normal basic IT manager who is focused in one area. So this must be good in, let's say, networking, firewalls, securities, cloud solutions, even web development or graphic design also needed. So these
correct,
are the things that, so as you said, smarter IT professionals needed in the field of the industry, because I think still some of the companies doesn't have the right proper resources, or they have the resources, or they are not taking, that means they are not using the resources properly, and again complaining back again that we don't have this service available and we didn't know that it was here. As I said,
correct,
the three
correct.
monkeys comes up at a point and say the three monkeys are available. So whatever the subject comes, three monkeys are available, whether it's IT, political, or everything. At a point, there is a person who is telling the three monkey story, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely,
I
absolutely.
think I think Dubai is a large area than Sri Lanka, but I think you have. I know that some of the people there in Dubai are. Some of them are well educated. Some of them are. That means family inherited managers are there, so they don't understand the technologies properly. So I think you have encountered most of the three monkey stories than us,
Yeah, yeah, there,
right?
there are a lot of environments like that that I have gone into here that relate to this story.
Yeah. Okay. So, so these are the question I had. So, I think it was a good session. So I think customers got to know what are the ATP technologies what we have. So how Microsoft approach when it comes to different platforms. Like specifically, we talked about Microsoft Teams, and you
Yes.
helped also. What are the concerns that CIU must have when you move into Microsoft technologies and Microsoft security concerns. So I think most of them doesn't have any questions because this is an area but doesn't have lot of questions about. But this is a new area because it's not a new area. But the thing is, in Sri Lanka, I think only handful of people are still using Microsoft Advanced Threat Protection. So this is a concern. So I would like you to request that means let's say by end of next month, I want a live session so we can understand a hands-on session so we can show the customers what are the threats available, how to manage it and stuff. So I think we could come back again on another day, maybe next month. Or I will try to see my schedule
Absolutely.
on the event and I'll give you a time and I have to check with you as well because I have time sometimes, but you don't have the time, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
so
We'll plan something like
yeah,
that.
so that I will make sure we'll get a specific base customers to understand this subject. We have to address these issues as well. So
It's actually, this is a very important subject that is being neglected.
yeah,
I don't know right now how the situation is in Sri Lanka. I haven't been there for almost 2 years,
mm,
but I think this is an area that right now customers should be bringing up if they are working with a partner. And if the partner is not doing it, I think they should start doing it now.
definitely. So this, as I said before, this is the concern what we have again. People are not coming forward, or else the partners are not giving the customer the right information, or the customer is not asking the right information from the partner. This is that means it goes back and forth, as I said before. So Akib, I think for the today's session, it was a good insight. So do you have any closing statement regarding this product and the information that we do today?
Well, only thing I can say is that this is a vast area. I mean, deploying the products are not very complicated also, unless you take products like Defend ATP that is there. It might depend on how you want to deploy that. But these are not very complex tools, but they are definitely very interesting and powerful tools that Microsoft has. So I think it is our responsibility to convey the same message to the customer and also maybe deploy this to the customer or for the customer.
Yeah. So, as Arkib's request, customers has to be aware of the product as well as the partners may have to make sure the customer is aware of the product. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
as pre-sales engineers, sales guys, you have the responsibility of making the customer understand what are the technologies available. And as I said before, there is cloud and there is a client. So ATP is the middleware, but it's the most
Correct.
important because it secures your data from your device to the cloud and inside cloud as well. And incoming and outgoing, everything is covered with this advanced threat protection. As I said before, it's not a thing we can discuss in 1 hour because Microsoft, as I said before, I think has most of the best titles and best product in protection. In further, I think we can discuss about I think advanced threat protection, information protection, and identity protections as well in future. So Akib is there for us all the time, so you can message me directly, so I can forward it. I can forward to him. He's in LinkedIn, Akib Afzal, and he's in Facebook as well, Instagram, all the platforms available. So you can contact him through messages, and he'll be really happy to help you guys. Even I'm there. So as I said before, we are there to help you understand the technology and move forward in this digital ecosystem what we have or what we call here in digital transformation. So as what COVID did us to do the digital transformation and have these sessions, but I'll be having this session till whatever the technologies come forward. But till then, so thank you, Akib, for giving us your precious time for giving educating people regarding advanced threat protection. So thank you once again, and thank you for my viewers who viewed. I think uh, in Microsoft actually it's the year end, so most of our guys were uh, they are online, but I think so all of the viewers, we have this video available to watch later on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. So let's say goodbye for now, but we'll be coming next month back again with another session with Tech Talk with Malit.
Thanks for
So
having me, Malit. Thanks for having
definitely,
me on.
definitely, it was a privilege because you was one of my colleagues, and so
Yeah,
colleagues,
yeah, definitely, definitely,
right? Okay, then have a
absolutely.
nice day, guys.
You
So see you soon.